The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply.
Alright, so this is the Flogcast for round 17. The emotionally checked out Tiger from Richmond, Starburns, is here, and I'm joined by the Andrew Mackey of podcasts from St Kilda, Cooksen.
I'm emotionally checked in.
The head of security on the white Collingwood thread, Morgan Ashley.
I'm emotionally checked out.
Australia's and Big Footy's #1 exporter of baby formula from Hawthorn, Penal.
I'm emotionally checked in and out at the same time.
Are you shaking it all about?
No comment.
And the Flogcast's resident piano man from North, Dan.
Oh, I'm actually in a good mood. I mean, it's taken us I've been on Skype for 5 minutes and we're already started. Usually I got to wait 30 plus minutes because someone has to take a piss or get a drink or cook a lamb or something or whatever.
Let's begin with goo or tears. And normally I ask who's got goo or tears, but today I'm just going to go straight into it. I have tears for the entire Richmond Football Club, from the president Peggy right down to the mascot Zoran. That was pathetic.
Zoran's the mascot?
Well, I don't know. I don't care. It's going right down to the lowest fucking position at the club.
The janitor.
The janitor, Zoran.
You're targeting the mascot guy as well.
That is a colossal, just club-wide disaster. I've been supporting Richmond my entire life through clearly the worst period the club's experienced, and a worse period than most other clubs, bar perhaps St Kilda in the first 30 years have experienced. And that was, I'm loath to say it was the worst performance I've seen, but I'd say it's the top three. There might be one or two I've repressed that are worse.
Well,
but
Damien Hardaway did say the best was yet to come. Maybe he meant it from a
for
loss
fuck's sake.
perspective. We
The
don't
best
get beat by 10 goals anymore, and we don't win by 10 goals anymore. So we're on the rise, and the best is yet to come. Mark my words.
We don't lose by 10 goals anymore over 4 quarters. We do over 2.
You were lucky to only lose 10 goals. You should have lost by 200, really.
200.
200. Yeah, you should
Wasn't
have.
even 100 points at halftime, you dickhead.
Oh, I'm rounding it off and then over-exaggerating. Still.
And look,
It was disgusting. I vomited on myself. I was so disgusted.
Like Mario.
Yeah, like Mario. I was a teenager the last time I left a Richmond game early that we were losing, and I was out of there before Grimes was concussed. I'd been at Collingwood Essendon. I was well and truly intoxicated and tired, and I said, fuck this. I'm not dealing with this shit. And I walked, and
Probably weren't alone.
I was sort of ashamed of it, but I did not walk alone because I was certainly not alone as I left the ground.
You didn't spit on anybody on the way out, did you?
Well, just myself with the vomit.
You didn't break into any houses and have a tug, did you?
No manure shipments.
Speaking of manure, I did feel like going down to the car park and spend the second half finding the players' cars to LW all over their cars, but I resisted that particular urge. But nah, it was disgraceful, and it's a bit of a cliche when a team wins comfortably. Oh, once I was really bad, the other was really good. Sometimes that actually can be misleading. In this case, it was true, and we were very, very bad, and St Kilda were very, very good for particularly that one quarter where they iced it, and it's just really disappointing to be so uncompetitive in a quarter. This wasn't when Geelong beat us by 160 points. This felt worse. Just because it wasn't Geelong.
Even the vomit game must have been, the Sydney one last year, must have been not as bad, even though it was 130, because the season was well and truly gone.
Yeah, the season was over. Last round, players checked out. I don't blame that at that particular stage against the team that eventually made the grand final. This was a team who had a fairly inconsistent year that were roughly around about similar mid-range ladder position to us. Came out and, did that. And it's not like they cracked into gear until the second quarter. So it's not like we couldn't have worked into the game. But that's a lot of tears. Who wants to go next?
I feel I should balance it out with complete and utter goo. Because that second quarter, we fucking raped Richmond, it has to be said. It was 10 goals to 0. I mean...
St Kilda really know how to do that, don't they?
Kobe Stevens was sidestepping Trent Cotchin. I was stunned. I thought best half of footy I've seen from my club for a decade, maybe, honestly. I mean, god damn, it's hard to find a bad player. I mean, Sam Gilbert even played well. That goes most of my tears.
There was something very weird about watching Sean Grigg and Sam Gilbert take a centre bounce.
It's not a normal human thing. But I just look at Richmond and we made their defenders look like crap. I mean, Rance is a gone footballer, but...
And Asprey's come a long way, but And
Yeah.
they were hanging in there in the first quarter, but it was all up the ground, everywhere beyond the back line. Eventually, the damn wall breaks, and that's when you get blown
You
open.
can't hold back that sort of supply. Just
No.
silver service from the mids.
It's just good performance all round. Pick one player, had to pick Seb Ross having a gun season. That's it, really. I'd also have tears for Dion Prestia, who he looked like shit.
Starburns was right.
Jager is looking like the better trade at the moment.
Oh, fucking... Jesus.
By replacing Miles with Prestia, you've made your side worse. At least Jager can't get on the park.
I've been saying this since we fucking got him. And Taylor Hunt came back, and I made a venture into the Richmond board last week to vent about it, because no one on the bay cares that Taylor Hunt's getting picked, so I have to vent somewhere. And yeah, it's amazing how many people on team boards are just the support the club at all cost types. And I don't even want to look at the Prestia thread, because I imagine that's what's happening right now. But
What if they're club plants?
you know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Just wait to see what the board looks like next week when Hardwick responds by bringing back Steve Morris, and then you'll have your
No,
answer.
he's injured. Thank fuck. We'll get back probably
Robin Nahas,
Townsend or someone like that. Or,
Dean Bowler, Aaron Fiora.
I believe Relton Roberts is still available. Anyway, nothing more on your Goo Cooksen.
Nope.
Who's next?
Look, so we had a draw, so I think it's entirely appropriate to have both Goo and Tears for exactly the same thing, and that is Dermot Brereton's commentary. Goo, because watching the game as a Hawthorn supporter, his commentary was actually quite insightful, and he spent about half the game talking about the changes we'd made to the game plan in the last couple of weeks and why we've been so improved and how we were moving the ball around in the back line and winning at the coalface. So it was really insightful. My tears are for the other half of his commentary, which is the fact that he spent about half the game talking about players' heights and why their listed heights are wrong. And so literally half of this game was comprised entirely of Dermot saying, now you got Will Langford here, he's a good size, he's listed at 183 in the book, but he can't be, he has to be at least 189, that's 6'3" in the old money. Tim O'Brien, he's listed as 193. Now, he must have been standing in a hole the day they measured him. He's at least 197, big body. James Sisley, he's listed down as 186. It can't be. You know, he's got to be at least half a foot taller.
And he weighs 86 kilos, but when he wears an onion on his belt, it goes up to 87. That's literally what it sounds like, 6'3" in the old.
It's just a rambling old man.
Loving the sound of his own voice.
Yeah, he's capable of the rare moments of insight, but yeah, like we've said before, he just rambles, and for some reason he picked this week to just ramble on about players.
I look forward to him commentating the next Gold Coast game with 2.03 metre Peter.
And that is 6'7" in the old. Is that the extent of it, Penal?
Yeah, and probably something like his parents should have named him Kevin so he could be 6'7" Kevin.
Morgs or Dan.
I got tears for me being the jinx. When we were pulling into the car park on Sunday to go to the North game, I was on my phone. I'm like, oh, look at how David Mundy's out. This is really good for you. I'm like, the guy they're bringing in hasn't played a game. This is really good for you. I'm really fucking sorry, guys.
Oh, fuck.
I'm really sorry. It's all my fault. He hasn't mentioned it since, but I've thought about it like 10 times.
But that's something out of the box, though, really. Like, the guy's never even played forward in his life.
Yeah, but like, I don't give a fuck that Mundy's not playing. I don't think he's that great. Why did I have to make a big deal out of it? Oh.
Well, but Mundy for a first gamer, it's sort of like, usually you go, oh, that's pretty good, you know.
Yeah,
Like his
anyone
experience.
would like do a little fist pump before the game, go like, yes.
Nice guy? What?
No whois.
Oh, fuck, I don't know what this guy is, but, you know, if he hasn't even got a game already, he must be worse than Subban.
I don't know what his name is, but he's number 43, and he was fucking everywhere.
Except in the Rising Star nomination for the week.
Of course not, because they had to nominate the 74th Carlton player of the year.
You got any more on that?
No.
Just sorry.
Sorry.
North.
Sorry, North. We can chalk this one down to being my fault.
Well, now that you've apologised to North, Dan, you're the only one left.
Oh, Yeah, I have tears. I was on the train heading into the footy, and my friend and I were the only North supporters in the carriage. And I'm looking around, and I see these little kids dressed up as their favourite Frozen character because they're all apparently going to the Frozen on Ice musical that's at Hisense Arena or something. There's probably 10 little kids, and their parents are in the carriage. I even saw Melbourne and Carlton supporters in our carriage, and their game wasn't going to start for another 3 hours. And my friend and I were the only North supporters, and it's not something that really bothers me because I'm usually used to it, the lack of blue and white. But it sort of got to me a little bit. I'm thinking, where the fuck are our supporters? I mean, it made me second guess. I was checking my phone and looking at the fixture just to check to see if I didn't miss the game, like it wasn't the day before or something. And that sort of bummed me out a little bit. But surprisingly, 19,000 people turned up to the game. They actually opened up I know. And this was a Sunday game. We haven't had people on the third level.
How many of those were Freo supporters, you reckon?
50 people. No, that was more than that. But still, I mean,
there's not many.
What, 19,000 is not many?
19,000 is not many, but it's probably, I think it's
19,000 for a North Melbourne Fremantle game at Etihad Stadium is 120,000 people at the MCG. You've got people sitting on the ground along the fence. You've got people sitting on the top roof tier on level 4. You've got people standing on the scoreboard. You've got all these people crammed in. It was crazy.
So in other words, no one wants to catch the train with you.
You know you're fucked when there's more people dressed as Mickey Mouse than North supporters on your train.
Not Mickey Mouse. It's the Frozen characters. What are they called?
Elsa.
I think I'm the only person on the planet that hasn't seen that movie.
I
recognise.
I just know the song.
Oh yeah, let it go, let it go.
Maybe you should let it go, Dan.
Let what go?
A lot of stuff.
The fact that you were the only one. Like, there were 19,000 people there. I think that's more than we all predicted last week.
Yeah.
I predicted 25.
Yeah, but we all said that was stupid.
He was the closest person with 25.
We were still technically closer than you, I think, then, Cookie.
And it's always, you got to get close enough without going over. So, boom, boom.
Yeah, boom, boom. Hand back, mod chip.
I thought you were in a good mood this week, Dan.
What made you think I was in a good
You
mood?
told us.
The fact you said you were?
Liar.
Now I'm in a sort of decrepit, sort of sad mood because you've made me talk about.
You picked talking about it.
You picked your tears. You could have had.
You asked me dual tears, and I only had tears.
You could have had Goo for Mullet's goals. They were really good.
For what? Go for what?
What? You had room on the train.
You weren't on the
No,
bus.
I did not have room
You
on
weren't
the
on a
train.
bus. Yeah.
The train, my carriage was relatively full, and it was filled with little kids and
there
Melbourne
only 10?
and Carlton supporters whose game hadn't started for another 3 hours, but they're on the train nonetheless.
Those kids could have had a happy day with their families.
I'm not
Feel
doing
happy
little
for them.
kids. I am not
Yeah,
Michael Jackson or any other pedo.
Those kids were going to have a great day, and then they saw Dan, and then it was just
Dan
ruined.
just sucked the life out of
You are genuinely a miserable shit,
I,
man.
I was feeling really sad for Dan when he was relaying that story until he started blaming us for it.
I never blamed you at all. What the hell are you on about?
I asked you for tears, and now it's my fault you told the story. You could have had goo about anything else. Didn't have to be football.
What was I going to go about?
Game of Thrones is back next week, Dan.
I'll go then. It hasn't come back yet.
North might win in the meantime.
Here's an idea, Dan. Let it go. Let it go.
I think we should let it go to the reviews, but in that case, I think we'll start with North versus Freo.
I apologise for my singing voice.
Yeah,
Clearly,
it's terrible.
clearly no paddles.
Career as a singer is finished.
Is there more on North v Freo since it's effectively where we are at the moment? That's a perfect segue.
No, I don't want to talk about it now. Fuck it.
I do. Aaron Mullet kicked good goals.
And you look good doing it?
Yep. And I know that NL won't listen to this, so I can say that. Yep.
North are the most mentally soft team in the last decade.
And that's saying something because there is Richmond and there is
Melbourne.
You just mentioned teams that haven't played finals, and yet North is the most mentally soft.
Your record in close games is like 3 out of 19 under Sprat score.
It's terrible. It's not great at all, but it's better than what other clubs have dished up.
It's still the same players.
I wouldn't cop that, Dan. Being called mentally soft by a team that lost a fucking grand final after being in a prime spot to win it. Nah, Fuck off. Fuck off. You're all mentally sick.
Which grand final? Which one?
Well, we're clearly not talking about Richmond, are we?
No,
Uh-huh.
see, I know, but it's the St Kilda one. But which one were they in a prime spot for?
2009. They should have won that.
The first grand final, 2010. They lost the 2010 one the moment when Goddard kicked the goal and he started thumping his chest like a retard.
Oh, God, I'm going to have a sweet dream over that tonight.
Speaking of mentally soft and fucking Goldstein, that is the second fairly easy shot on goal after the siren in probably the last 3 or 4 years he's had to win a game.
Wasn't after the siren.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. To win the game, basically. Game on his boot. Mundy wasn't there to pinch it.
There's still 2 minutes to go after he kicked it.
No, it would have been 20 seconds, Dan.
Yeah, 15 seconds,
Yeah.
probably.
He marked it with about 35 to go, and he didn't even use his
Did he?
full 30.
No. That just goes to show even the umpiring is trolling North. It's like, here we go, we'll just pluck it out a free kick for them to have a set shot with less than 30 seconds to go, and they'll still miss. Because that free kick, although granted his arm was over his shoulder, those sort of free kicks you don't see late in last quarters when the game's tight.
Yeah, they normally put the whistle away, but it was a
Yeah.
free kick.
I agree. It wasn't so blatantly obvious that you expect a free kick in that situation, but it was definitely there. It's just probably not a free kick normally under the circumstances. It's not that bad. It's not like he put him in a headlock, but he nearly did.
Like, I know that Goldstein missed and, like, that's fucking putrid. But Jack Zeeble had a shot for goal and he should have kicked that and then North would never have been in that position and would have just won the game.
That's true.
But he didn't.
Someone else missed one, didn't they,
kick
when
the
they were
goal.
about 12 points up? Was that Zeebel's one?
That was Zeeble's one.
Zeeble kicked the goal. He had a set shot and kicked it. What are you talking about?
No,
Oh, he's
he-
been copping a lot of shit in the last few days for one.
In the last, like, minute and a half, he missed.
Oh, okay. He did kick a set shot goal, though, earlier in the
Yeah,
game.
but-
He doesn't get any credit for that one?
Well, no.
No. Oh.
He's just not a clutch player. You want a clutch player as your captain.
Someone missed a reasonably easy one before Nikas's too. It would have put North about 13 points up.
Why don't we just go through every North player
It was
that missed a
Zeeble.
set shot?
Zeeble's the one that could have put them, like, 13 or 14 points up and missed.
Okay.
And then, where
Yeah, so those can turn games.
Yeah.
I love when Dan doesn't agree with you, so he, like, passively aggressively says, like, yeah.
Yeah. What else we got on this game?
Time for a rebuild at North.
Isn't it already a rebuild, really?
What a rebuild. We were doing that at the start of the year. We're rebuilding
Re-rebuild.
now. Oh, a second one. A rebuild. A rebuild.
Well, this one
Rebuild
hasn't
is so
fucking
bad.
worked. Start again.
This rebuild has been so bad. We're going to have to build another rebuild on top of the rebuild.
Let's
You
rebuild
sold the
after 14 weeks.
sold the farm for Jed Anderson.
Yeah, that's a fuck up.
North are going to have the number 2 pick, and just did anyone catch it? Josh Gibson's sad as fuck at the moment.
Oh, no, he's anxious as fuck.
Prime candidate
Yeah.
for a trade, North.
Come home, Josh. Go home, Josh.
I'd be anxious too if I dressed like that much of a fucking wanker.
Can I ask a serious question?
I thought all your questions were serious.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Do you think he's really depressed? He's got the SADS? It's starting to become like a passing sort of thing where every player is like depressed now.
When did we invite
and
Kaiser C15 on?
And in Josh Gibson's case, the guy's been a premiership player. He makes good money. He's fingered all the pussycat doll girls. That man should be happy as anything, and yet he's put his hand up saying, you know, I'm sad too.
Maybe the bravado is overcompensating for deep-seated insecurities.
Maybe he needs to consider himself fortunate that he lives the life that he lives, and that there are many others that are not so fortunate.
Maybe he should just stop and take a good hard long look at himself in the mirror.
In the mirror, it has to be in the mirror.
I don't want to trivialize somebody else's experience by saying they have no reason to be sad. We don't know Josh Gibson as a person or what he faces on a day-to-day basis, but the guy's hot as fuck.
What does he face on a daily basis that's making?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to pretend that I've walked a day on his shoes, but from the outside, it doesn't look like he has a hell of a lot to be upset about, other than the fact he's no longer very good at football.
I agree, and I think that's a good point to move on to the draw, Hawthorn's draw, Penal.
We were 21 points up or something, and then GWS kicked 5 in a row, and then we were 13 points down, and then Will Langford did what Will Langford does best, and kick a ridiculous fluke goal.
How tall is he?
About 6'3" in the old.
How tall is Heath Shaw?
I think Heath Shaw's in the book at about 184, and he must have been on stilts the day they measured him, because out there he looked very short on the goal line defending that bouncing ball. And ramble.
Depends if he's had his really good meds that day that make him jump high.
I don't know why he didn't jump. I really don't. Like, I know he might not have been perfectly balanced, but you got to at least try.
There were 3 players just stood there watching the ball, waiting for it to bounce. Surely one of them at least goes for the goalkeeper dive, and then one is on the goal line.
I couldn't believe when that went through. I was just like, you're fucking kidding me that happened. Like, that just sums up the sort of results we've been getting this season.
Yeah. And of course, it had to be Will Langford, obviously, after that grand final goal. And he missed one from about 15 out directly in front, hit the post with that one. But just rolls it through to tie the game.
Line snap.
And what about the foresight and critical thinking from Ryan Burton to try and knock through the match-winning point?
If only he was a little bit faster.
Unfortunately, cruelly denied by the siren, which obviously, the game goes 1 second longer and we win by a point. But yeah,
I think he fucked that because he didn't get enough on it first time, but I think he fucked it by going again. He should have thought about, James Kelly fucked it up the week before. He should have, as soon as that siren went, tried to get the fuck away from that ball. It wasn't bouncing too quickly towards goal, but he should have at least made a Giants player keep it out. Because clearly the siren had gone. Like, he should have at least seen what happened.
There were a bunch of players around, so presumably one of them would have got it anyway, so you might have been able to...
Could have been Heath Shaw without his pills, not knowing what to do. I'm going to smother this across the line like it's Nick Revolt.
Heath Shaw probably is so fucking dumb that he would have spooled it through anyway, and being the defensive team, it counts even if you hit it after the siren.
But that's what I mean, like, some players might not know.
Yeah, it's a weird quirk in the rules, so maybe he should have tried to take advantage of it, but it was a split second thing, like maybe half a second to a second, that you see what he's trying to do.
Do we have anything else out of that game?
Jeremy Cameron is pretty shit or overrated or something.
And yet still 5th in the Coleman.
They threw up the Coleman, and I was like, I've hardly seen him this year. Like, compared to Patton, who's been much more of a presence in games. Is it safe to say he's a rich man's Josh Jenkins?
No. He's far beyond that. Cameron's always been a goals with not many kicks, and he improved that a little bit earlier in the season, but I think he's struggling with it a bit more now. He's not a great link-up player. Not a big ball winner. He's not a contested marking beast.
And credit does have to go to the excellent youth in Hawthorn's defence, which took on the much rated GWS forward line and kept them to 15 goals, which good effort, I thought, for a bunch of kids, and then fucking Gunston Hodge playing backline.
Nothing else on that game?
Tom Mitchell continues to dominate, and he is actually unprecedented because most ever 30 disposal games in a row.
So
unprecedented.
In brown and gold.
Speaking of unprecedented, let's go to Melbourne and Carlton, which had one significant incident in the game, or at least has become a significant incident. The game was good, but really Clayton Oliver again stealing the show with the interaction with the fan.
What should have happened is that security should have come down and they should have escorted Clayton Oliver out of the venue.
What? It's unsociable behaviour to threaten somebody, little cunt.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Oh,
he should have been evicted out of the stadium.
I'll kill you. Come at me, Ranger. I'll smack you.
Yeah, he's not Jake King. If you're scared by that, you're weak as piss. Like, fair dinkum. If Reece Shaw, instead of crying, had have said, get fucked, I'll kill you. Well, okay.
I love it. I'll kill you.
But, if you're going to mouth off, you got to wear what they say. Like, if they take a swing at you, that's a bit different. But if you're just going to mouth off back at him, weak as piss from the guy to demand an apology, and weak as piss from Melbourne to effectively force it.
If you're going to interact with a crowd member, don't say I'm going to kill him. Jump over and kick his fucking head in like Cantona. Don't half-ass it, Oliver.
We don't want the teach method, Cook.
As if Oliver's going to jump a fence. The guy's a soft cock. He's not going to do anything. That's why he knows he's protected, so he can say what he likes, so I'll kill you. No, you won't, you little squib. That's it. Biggest squib I've seen.
Well, the look he has, I don't really sort of shiver in fear if someone of his stature was to come up to me and go, I'll kill you.
It's because he's got no soul.
Ugly. Not scary.
What, is that a ginger joke, is it?
This is a ginger joke, Dan.
You have no soul.
He does look like he's got no
He
soul.
does a little bit, yeah.
Hey, Clayton, where's your soul? Where's your soul, Clayton?
Clayton Sullivan.
I don't know, I guess I'm in the minority on this one. I was just baffled by the whole thing.
No, but if
No.
Bruce Shaw had said to you, I'll kill you, it wouldn't have been nearly as good as when he looked at you with his puppy dog eyes and you felt bad.
Yeah, but, like, that's what it is. It's like, if you're going to mouth off at the player, they can mouth off back. And really, if you're taking that death threat seriously, maybe you're not right in the head.
If only he had said that to like a Bandito's bikie member or something like that, and the next thing you know, they're all
Yeah.
inside his house.
Imagine if fucking Jake King's there in the crowd having a beer with the crowd, and
Or he says it's Dustin Martin who gets his dad.
Yes, my dad from New Zealand's going to get you.
Or Ty Vickery, and you'll just get King to do it.
no one comes out of
Stand
this
for the
looking
man
good.
2 foot tall. Standing over midgets. Fucking hell.
You can imagine him, he's just looking up at him, pointing at him, upwards going.
Maybe that's why he's got Vickery. He sits on his shoulders or something.
No, in the cat bag.
Vickery puts King in the cat bag. Turn left, Ty. Turn left. Go the other left. Ty, it's getting foggy in here.
It's like Empire Strikes Back when Yoda's hanging off the back of Luke's shoulders, hanging around his shoulders, telling him where to go. But what else do we have on Melbourne, Carl?
I'm very sad about Patrick Cripps.
At least it's only a 6-week broken leg, though. Not a broken leg.
Well, it's still end of the year broken leg.
It's not one you have to worry about how he comes back from it the same way. Because some players do break their legs, don't come back the same. Like, maybe that's why Zeeble can't kick. What do you reckon, Dan?
Is that the bit where I chime in and go, oh, yes, he can kick. He's a good player.
Well, not now, it's not.
Yeah,
Good
because
player,
he
but he
missed that
can't
one.
kick.
He missed that one set shot.
It wasn't a set
Let's
shot.
dedicate 20 minutes to Jack Zeeble because he missed a set shot.
It
Even though
wasn't
he didn't
shot,
goal.
you stupid flog.
That's what you said. He missed a set shot.
No, he kicked the set shot. It wasn't a set shot.
Dan's like, basically goes, I'm not biting, get fucked, but then goes, fuck you, I'm biting.
I'm not biting because you want me to bite, but let me jump
I'm
and
only
bite.
I'm only biting because I want to bite, not because you want me to bite.
But no, Melbourne can't, so yeah, Cripps going down. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. If only it was Jack Zeeble, it would have been hell.
Who said that?
Oh, now he definitely won't kick goals again after that knee injury.
Leg.
It was good to see Jesse Hogan come back.
It was. He
Yeah.
didn't. He played like a guy who looked a bit underdone, but it was good to see him out there.
Any comments, Dan?
No, I'm going to say yes or no from now on.
And did anyone notice the fact that a Carlton player got the Rising Star nomination?
Oh,
No.
shocker.
Hey, you wouldn't think it happened because I haven't heard anything about it. Everyone's been so quiet, but apparently the long overdue, quote unquote, nomination of Kono finally happened.
I didn't think he was very good. Am I wrong? Like, I thought he played a terrible last quarter.
I think he's got it for on the old penal basis last week that you get it for repeat performances, but I don't think that should be the case unless you actually play a good game.
There's no way Kerno played a better game than that Docker flog.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes someone plays one out of the box and you have to reward it. It doesn't matter if it's their first game. You've got to just give it to them.
For a year's worth of performances, it's one game, so fucking...
Yeah, there's going to be some rounds later in the season that are going to be difficult to fill. That's usually where you get the random ones. A Rising Star nom generally is more valuable in the first half of the season than the last 6 weeks. The last 6 weeks is when they're sort of scraping the barrel a little bit.
Yeah, they sort of do an Oprah and be like, you get a
Like-
Rising Star
Yes.
nom.
Let's be honest, Rising Star noms mean fuck all. Carl Steinford got one.
Oh, there's some shockers that have got them.
And it's
I'm
all
pretty sure
irrelevant.
Jack
just
Zeeble
'cause-
got a Rising Star nomination.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, and
Well,
he's
it's
captain
all-
of the
it's-
club.
it's
He's
like
come a
Back in
long way.
2009, but
He's come a long way.
Dad, if we're not trying to bait you anymore, stop biting the fucking ball.
It's all irrelevant anyway. Carlton could have 15 players get nominated and none of them are going to beat Burton anyway.
Anything else out of this game?
I like the use of the shot clock at the end. It was clever.
Ah, that was clever to the pass to Jordan Lewis backwards.
Yep,
Yeah.
clever.
Clever, but how can you leave him all on his own? Just
Oh, well, that's not clever. That's fucking stupid. But I like
shit
when
defense.
people
But-
don't break the rules, but just play exactly to them to show what a farce it is.
I mean, that sort of set play, pretend to have the set shot if you're maybe just on 50 and then go for the chip kick sideways. People have been doing that forever. It just looks more blatant because of the shot clock and they look at the clock and often don't move. So I think if you got rid of the clock, people would still do the same thing, but it would look better in a way.
All right, let's move on. Eagles were bad at home against the Puffers. The Puffers technically beat a... Oh, did they beat a top 8 team? Are West Coast in the
Nope.
head? I don't know.
Nope, they were not.
They still have not beaten a top 8 team since 2015.
This is a really disappointing one from West Coast. Like, just when they look like they might have started to click, I know the Dogs aren't playing great football, but they'd beaten Geelong and they'd beaten the Dogs away.
They're so flaky away that you just got to bank those home wins.
And even when they bank an away win, they fuck it up at home. It's sort of like, you can't trust this team. Like, and Darling's playing well, and they're still not getting wins.
Their midfield's just...
Same old problem every year. Good forward line, good defence, but shit midfield because Pritis needs help. He can't do it all on his own.
I mean, Mitchell's, he's pretty much done. Pritis is pretty much done.
I wouldn't say either of them's done. It's just that the others don't lift enough of the load inside to compensate.
Probably true.
I mean,
Shuey's meh. Wellingham's meh. Sheed's meh.
It's a midfield field with the most undeserving Brownlow medalists in the history of our game.
Apparently it is Pritis' fault, though, that they're shit. That's found its way to the main board this week. Like, I'm frankly amazed that this is what West Coast supporters are worried about. Are they not concerned with the softness of Gaff and Shuey and all these other mids?
Yeah, like, of all the players that you could pick on, like, the guy that you know is going to show up and try his heart out every week.
And he's not the most talented footballer, but...
Yeah, he turns the ball over by foot. So what? So do a lot of Brownlow medalists.
Like Dangerfield.
Dangerfield.
Yeah, you should pick on Gaff can't handle a tag, Shuey can go missing, Wellingham soft as butter. Like, I'd be singling out 6 to 12 players before Pritis. Pritis is not the problem, he's a symptom of their poor midfield. Like, you have to play him.
Excellent analogy. If he was dropped like Scott Thompson has been at Adelaide and sat out the team for an extended period, you would not see a change because the midfield's bruise free. I guess maybe that's a symptom of playing at Subiaco where you get a lot of space and Nick Nat giving you hit outs to space.
And a lot of free kicks apparently, according to Boyd Show.
Anything else out of this game?
Contested marking beast kicked the bag, so I guess he has actually had a good year.
Let's go to Essendon put the pressure on Fig Jam.
Yeah, gosh. Can we just come clean on Nathan Buckley and just... That guy got a assistant coaching gig and then eventual senior coaching gig 100% purely because he's Nathan Buckley. Did anyone ever stop to think, can this guy coach? Does he have a message that the players are going to believe?
You do realise the only reason Collingwood asserted the succession plan was because North were basically about to gift him the job that Brad Scott eventually got.
I know. God, and we bypassed that, thank God. We got a less crappier coach.
Oh yeah, you really came out the winners in that exchange.
Hey, we've done better than Collingwood.
Well, Collingwood won a flag.
No, I'm talking Buckley to now. Buckley wasn't a senior coach when...
No, he wasn't. But apparently, as an assistant, he actually did a pretty good job. Maybe he's just one of those assistants who's going to be a good assistant, but not a...
Based on what?
Apparently, he was
He did a good
responsible
job.
for the press.
Wow. It's gone backwards since he was a senior coach.
Well, not all assistants make good coaches, and maybe that's a communication issue.
Not all good players become good coaches, but if you're Nathan Buckley and you're a champion footballer and Eddie Maguire's wet dream, then...
Not all good footballers, so average footballers make good coaches.
Well, I mean, the comparison was always like Buckley third boss, and so I reckon he's still done better than those two.
Oh, absolutely. By default.
He should just
Average footballers don't
take some
make
pride
good
in that.
Average footballers don't make good coaches because Brad's not.
I was about to ask what kind of coach Jack Zeeble will make.
Let's hope he's not the kicking coach to start with. Or the goal kicking coach.
Whether people rate Buckley or not, and we know where Morgs stands on this, and we know where the rest of us are on this. Can Buckley survive one more bad loss? Like, just one shocker out of the box.
He's in that territory now where a 100-point loss will
kill him.
will
I agree.
It's been a 100-point loss. It's not like we've lost by fucking 10 goals once this year.
I know, but it's
Like,
got that...
it's so
era.
fucking dramatic. It's ridiculous. We haven't been flogged once. Not once. Richmond have had worse losses than us, and they were fucking talked up as top 4 last week. Fuck right off.
Okay, but Buckley's going to fuck off first before we do.
Yeah.
No. No.
If Nathan Buckley was
hey.
the coach of North
Good
Melbourne and
boy.
Brad Scott was the coach of Collingwood, it'd be a completely different scenario. Brad Scott done fuck all with his list, except tear it apart,
And he's getting the opportunity to rebuild it, which is absurd.
rebuilding it.
Rebuild it.
If Brad Scott hasn't done
The
fuck all...
fact he's still
with the
playing
Melbourne-
Jack Door
Well,
is fucking absurd.
What
Is
has
Mason Wood
Nathan
injured?
Buckley
Did Mason
achieved?
Wood play?
He's
No.
injured.
Okay,
What-
so he wasn't
what has
overlooked
Nathan-
the door.
What
No,
has
but
Nathan
where's
Buckley
Bruce?
achieved as compared
No,
to
where is Bruce?
Brad Scott?
Where's Bruce?
I'm not the coach. I'm not on match
We're
committee.
talking about the coach. You want to bring up mine, I'm bringing up yours. But
Yeah,
yours is
you
scrutiny
said-
because no one
you
gives a
said-
fuck about your club.
You said okay.
No,
can I talk
19,000
now?
people
You
do.
you said Brad
Not
Scott.
one person on the
has
train
achieved-
did.
Brad Scott hasn't achieved F all. That's what you're saying, right? By comparison to Nathan Buckley, from the very start of his tenure to now, what's Buckley achieved?
Nothing.
So you're saying North playing in prelims is nothing.
No, because the aim is not to play in a
Winning
fucking
finals
prelim.
is nothing.
No.
Oh.
You achieve success by winning the last game of the year. You do
Oh, so
not
every-
celebrate
so every-
winning a pre.
So every coach is a failure except for the premiership coach every
Yes.
year.
Yep.
In the most extreme sense, yes, Dan.
Ross Lyon was brought to Fremantle with 1 goal to win a flag. Has he done it? No. He's failed,
Yeah,
effectively.
and I don't think Brad ever had a premiership list at North, but the point is he coached and they managed that club like they had a premiership list and they fell short, and he's failed now because that's where he's ended up. And Buckley's in a similar sort of boat, but at the same time, Buckley at least, he's sort of partially through a rebuild.
I don't think they have the cat.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think some of the better players fell off, needed to be removed. Some
Oh,
of the
they're
drafting
in a
hasn't-
rebuild now, are they?
They've been rebuilding on their way down.
Oh. What about the dynasty that was supposed to happen after they won the 2010 premiership?
Well, maybe they were.
I
only
don't
good
know
enough
if
to
you
win
were
one.
aware, but he wasn't the coach then.
I said after.
Yeah, but when
You got
we
sacked.
lost the grand final,
You got rid of the premiership coach, the one that
Yeah.
the guy that
who
won you the
then
premiership.
lost the grand final.
And then you decided to get Nathan Buckley in, a guy
Okay.
with no coaching.
I don't know if
credentials.
you were there
Because
or
it's
you were
Nathan
aware.
Buckley.
Do you remember who played in that
Oh,
premiership team?
Let's
Chris
get Nathan
Dawes,
Buckley in
Nick
as our
Maxwell,
coach, because we
Heretia
love Bucks.
Lumumba, Jared
We love
Blair.
Bucks. He's a champion of our club, and we love
Brent
him.
McCaffer.
We don't know if he can coach, but we're going to install him as a coach, the most important position of the football club.
You were 1 second away from doing it if we didn't offer him a job, you fucking goose.
Yeah, and that was a monumental mistake, and I wasn't on board with that. Trust me.
And because you didn't, we won a flag.
Thanks, Dan.
You won the flag because Nathan Buckley was the assistant.
Yes?
Oh, you get
No succession plan. No Malthouse picking up Jolien ball.
If you
being
don't
killed
if you don't know anything about what our game style was in that year and who was responsible for what we did, then that's your own problem.
I do know that
Starburns
your
even
club's
said
gone
just
backwards
before about
results-wise
how he
since
was
Buckley
responsible
was
for the
senior
press.
coach. Backwards, not forwards.
Starburns said before how he was responsible for the press.
Who gives a shit about the press? Fuck the press.
The press is what won us the grand final, you
It kept them
dumb.
defensively sound in a team that
Okay,
had Nick Maxwell
okay.
down back.
All right, I'll give you that. Where has it been since? Where's it been?
It got found out. Things get found out. That's how
Oh,
football
it got
evolves.
found out. Oh.
Geelong ran through it the next year.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Clarko's cluster stopped Geelong in 2008.
Yeah, that's right. Look
Buckley
look how
was
you
coach.
just proved us wrong because we won a flag and you didn't.
You didn't win a flag with Buckley as a senior fucking coach.
Oh
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I think we've reached an impasse here.
Getting back on topic,
Yes.
just looking at their fixture, they play Port over there, like in the last couple of rounds of the year, and Port sure do love to ski at home, so that
Fair
might
point.
be the one that finally knocks up a...
No,
and
you don't want to get
Penal
rid of
lost
him. He's a
Simpson.
good coach. Don't get rid of him. No, you've convinced me now. I'm on board. He's a great coach. You got to stick with him.
They're going to get rid of him and replace him with Jackson.
No,
Jack Zeeble as
don't
captain
say
coach, yeah.
that. No, come on. Be serious now. We got to get behind Bucks. Come on.
Well, get rid of him at the end of the year
Unity-
once we've had the
Unity-
review. He's not going
Oh,
to
so
go
you-
in round
you wanna-
20.
You want to get rid of him, do you? I thought he was a good coach. You want to get rid of him
No,
now.
but I think she's resigned to the fact that they're probably going to fold.
I'm not sure if you're aware, Dan, but I don't make the decisions for the football club. So unfortunately,
Right?
no.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't either. Like,
'Cause
I don't
I
get to
thought
sack
other-
Hardwick. Morgs doesn't get to keep Bucks.
No.
Penal doesn't get to make Ryan Burton captain.
Oh, so you guys being supporters of your teams don't get any say in what happens at your club. I
No,
thought
because we have more than 19,000 supporters.
Jeez.
No, because there's 80,000 of us, we all don't get to be in control.
Oh yeah, here comes the crowd. Sort of. You know, we have so many. It's the home run swing of all defences from footy fans. We have so many small supporters.
You're the one that talked about being the only North supporter on the train, mate.
Let's.
Yeah,
let's
and that's every
Fuck, mate.
every weekend.
no more. no more. Collingwood
No,
Essendon.
We've got to keep Buckley. We've got to keep the unity and the team morale up. If you get rid of the coach, the morale will just go even further south than what it is now.
Collingwood versus Essendon. On that game,
It's not Buckley's fault. It was a Collingwood's team's
Dan,
fault.
shut up.
He's a good coach.
Who the fuck's James Stewart?
He was at GWS. Collingwood could have had him father-son. He was right under Sauce's eyes, and Carlton needed a forward, and Sauce decided, nah, fuck that, I want Jared Pickett. He hurt Collingwood a few times on the rebound. Just on your thoughts, now that that's been mentioned, Morgs, your thoughts on Tom Langdon?
Congratulations on your 50th game, Tom Langdon. I hope it's your last.
Yes, because I noticed he was the one who appeared to be minding Stewart, but often seemed to get burnt on the turnover, which he did a few times, but Stewart found a lot of space and a lot of important links for a guy who didn't get much of the ball.
Tom Langdon. I want to support you, mate, but you just make it real hard. But I just don't know who you could replace him with. Like, I don't know, Lockie Keith.
Buckley,
Captain Coach.
lift the morale.
I don't get the Orazio Fantasia goo. If his name was John Smith, no one would give a fuck.
Yeah, it's all BT's fault.
He's a handy, small pocket type, but I think someone actually mentioned him in the same sentence as Betts and even Rioli earlier in the year, and I just went, you're kidding me, right?
He looks like he could be about the Carlton era Betts type. He will never get to Adelaide Betts level.
No.
He's like lower than Puopolo.
But look, it takes a lot to make Watson not look completely shit as well.
Oh yeah, we did that. That guy wants to be a barista and we made him look like a footballer.
It was disappointing from Collingwood, and that's why I think Buckley's probably going to be in charge. Morale doesn't look good. I don't understand why it's not working, but it's not.
No, I like the self-awareness of Kalor to come out the next day and say he had a stinker, because he fucking
He
did.
was awful.
Oh, if he could get in the way of our own players or turn it over, if there was anything he could do wrong, he did it wrong.
He was Jack Darling, Hayden Ballantyne grand final-esque.
Oh, he just add them together. He was just so bad. Elliot was great, again.
He was probably the only one keeping you in it in the early part of the game, just with his work up forward. They didn't have an answer for him.
Oh, he's a beautiful footballer.
Anyway, we are moving on from all things Buckley, and now we go on to Richmond versus St Kilda, which got a bit of discussion earlier, but continue.
Another master coach.
You've been sitting on that one for an hour.
No, it's just I think of silly, crazy
Circus
circus
music.
whenever Richmond loses.
But they have a master coach as well.
No.
It's true. That's true.
Fucking
And Kane Corns should just keep his mouth shut. He had some inappropriate things to say about it.
You know what? For once, I will agree with Hardwick having a crack at Kane Corns, because that guy's a cockhead who lied about wanting to be a fireman. He's trying to manufacture some fucking one-way rivalry, as was discussed a couple of weeks ago, and what he said might have been right, but that's fucking blind Freddy.
Broken clock, etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, he's passing it off as insightful comment when really he's just stating the obvious.
He's been a cocksmack.
Yeah, and he's doing it because he's got some weird unresolved issues. I don't know what they are in this regard, but he's clearly
His
been
father never loved him enough.
His father loved Adelaide Crows more than him.
He loved Chad more.
Who could love Chad more? They would go with. Even the people from South Australia don't like Chad.
What else we got on this game?
Tim Membry with the elbow thing or forearm.
Yeah, obviously I wasn't home in time to catch this. I'd only just left the ground, but I did read Big Footy and a lot was mentioned about...
You left early?
This was discussed.
I thought you were referring to a game years ago.
No, it was the first time since years ago that I've left early. This is the earliest I've ever left a game.
That's
any
really poor
description.
when people leave early.
Well, I was disgusted.
You're a squib of a supporter if you do that.
Well, I wasn't putting up with that shit. And you got to vote with your feet.
Oh, well, yeah, they're going to take notice of some little dwarf that's left the venue early.
As I said, I was not alone.
All the munchkins are leaving. We should take notice of this and try harder next week.
They're taking the hobbits back to Isengard.
I just thought it was the Oz kickers leaving after half time.
There were more Richmond supporters on the train home than me than were on the carriage with you on the way to the North game, Dan. What I did want to mention is that I did read that there was a lot of backlash over Basil's commentary over the Membry incident, that Grimes won't remember that.
Oh, there was. It's like he's got no memory left.
Like, we hang shit on Morgs for injury trolling, and she's nowhere near that level.
Oh, I might have got a chuckle out of it, but I knew it was wrong.
You can't fucking say that as a broadcaster.
Not as a broadcaster. As some random...
The way he said it too, with that awful tone, like he thought he was funny. Oh, no.
Thanks for the memory.
Yeah, it was like the Daniel Ricciardo's favourite player is Shuey. Just no one laughed.
Yeah.
Except this one made him look like even more of a cockhead.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's rehearsed the line. He's like, oh, I can use it now. That's literally a lack of understanding of the game. Pure and simple.
That's just being a cocksmack.
Is that your word of the day?
Yes.
Penal mentioned Dermot Brereton before, but it's like Basil was watching and went, how can I be worse?
How can I just make player puns that aren't actually funny?
When they're in bad state.
Yeah, it's just like... But no one will care, because that's just the way it is. He's terrible at his job, and he's clearly, now we have proof that he's a terrible human being as well. Anything else on that game?
I was going to say, Penal, tell your club to leave Robertson alone.
Third rounder, done deal, was agreed last year.
It wasn't Billings after all, it was Robertson, yeah?
Yep.
So there you go. Hawthorn supporters were right.
He can take the Josh Gibson role. Big shoes to fill. Hopefully Robertson isn't too anxious about it.
Let's move on. The Dogs are officially premiership hungover.
The Dogs are shit.
I waited
Very,
for this bit.
very, very shit.
Oh, yeah.
They're worse than we were in 09.
They're not going to play finals. No way.
Too many of their good players are out of form.
And the thing I noticed is I actually watched Malcolm Blight's acceptance for the legend status in the Hall of Fame. I watched that recently. And he was asked about the Crows coming back and winning in 98, because 97 was so big and huge and fantastic, and they're like, and you actually managed to back it up in 98. And Blight's explanation, as simple as it was, yeah, but we had a fantastic tight group, and there were guys the year before like Rashudo and a couple of others who missed the first one, and they wanted to get back for them. And when you think about it, the Dogs have Murphy, they have Wallace, they have Redpath, they have Cramry,
Redpath. I can't believe you mentioned that guy's name.
Well, these are guys.
No, it's not about ability. It's about spirit and
Best
getting
22.
a flag for your mates. Like Hawthorn obviously had a similar thing where Suckling and Schoenmakers did ACLs in 13, and part of the motivation to back it up was, give those guys their lick of the ice cream.
Exactly right. These guys should be enough motivation to get back there. Like, there's best 22 good clubmen. There's another one I was thinking of as well. Oh, Lin Jong as well. Like, these are the guys you should be, like, if you're not playing for Murphy and Wallace anyway, the others are just extras. But if you're not playing for them...
Why would they play for Murphy? He took all the bloody limelight in the last grand final.
So you reckon that's the problem?
The audacity to jump,
on
the podium and touch the cup. Even took the coach's medal.
Is that the problem, Dan? It's actually JJ's not fucking Mrs. X Stringer. It's Bob Murphy's the limelight thief that's torn the club apart.
Absolutely. I think that's it.
I lost my respect for this guy. I don't want to play with him.
I don't want him to get a real medal. All he'll do is take the other 21 as well. Also, out of this game, the Crows took the JJ treatment to a new level, with Tex effectively trying to Luke Hodge him.
You only got a fine for that too.
Like,
you could have killed him, and it's like, no, we'll just give you a fine.
Could have killed him.
Thanks, Basil.
The only thing I think that clearly saves Tex here is it happens a bit further away.
What needs to happen for Taylor Walker to get suspended? Does the post need to break?
I don't know. He should have been rubbed out. It was piss poor.
Like, Easton Wood got a week for an open palm slap to someone's stomach.
It's not quite as bad as Hodge because he's a little bit further away.
Yeah, the Hodge one was probably worse because he's right there and elbows him. But, I mean, Tex should have been rubbed out because what else was going to happen?
Yeah, my opinion is Tex tried to push him into the post but tried to get his ribs or body to collect it, not so much his head, which would hurt anyway, but probably do less risky damage. And he's clearly got it wrong and he should get suspended. Are we in agreement he should have got suspended?
Should have got a life ban. Tried to kill someone.
I reckon he should have got the 2 weeks that Hodge got, and Hodge should have got more than he got a couple of years ago.
I haven't even seen the incident, if I'm being honest.
Not pretty. But Johannesson's they've worked him out. His price has dropped so badly in the last month or so that he went back to the Dogs and goes, is that contract still in front of me? Because I don't think the other ones are. And took 5 years. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and how much he's being paid now.
I mean, 5 years for a halfback flanker is stupid.
Yeah, that is legitimately getting sucked in by a single medal.
A single medal that he shouldn't have got in the first place. He butchered it all over the grand final.
Yeah, so that's like giving Pritis 5 years on the back of a Brownlow, right, Dan?
Exactly.
Except the Pritis is a gun.
Or Zeeble 10 off a Rising Star nom.
Disgraceful.
Anything else out of this game?
Somewhere at home, Tom Bug was probably on the couch thinking, damn, wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah, I won't whack him. I'll just throw him into the goalpost.
Andrew Walker got a week for throwing a guy into a fence a couple of years ago. Did he get 2 weeks?
I think he got 2, but it was head first.
Well, this was head.
Joel Selwood got like a week down to a fine, I think, under the old point system for pushing his brother, just like kids in a sandpit or something.
If the goalpost is fair play, why don't you just get Aaron Sandlands just to rip it out of the ground, because it's a fucking giant monster, and just use it as a bloody sword just to whack people.
I think that might be against the rules.
No, I mean, you can throw people into the goalpost. Why not use the goalpost as a weapon?
Just swing it around there.
Well, by their rationale, you can get another person, rip out the other goalpost, and you can have a fucking jousting contest.
There you go. Now we're
Jousting
talking.
six.
Just they can all dress up in night regala.
I don't know how teams are going to score if there's only 3 posts up, but still, I mean, I'd want to see it.
Rip out the other point bros. Double joust.
Everyone rips out a point, and then there's no posts at all, and there's no more scoring.
Oh, Ross Lane's dream.
Battle to the death.
And no coincidence that he plays for Freo Sanderland, so I guess we can expect to see that next year. Absolutely 2 games that didn't matter. The first one, Geelong smacked Brisbane. The only thing I can think of out of this game is that Brisbane joined St Kilda in the club of teams to have let Hawkins take a bounce this year.
Oh,
Never
did he?
thought you'd be
Shame.
saying that sentence.
Just fold Brisbane again.
But give us Hipwood.
Give us Stalker.
No, you want Rockcliffe,
Give
don't
St
you?
Kilda
You want
Rockcliffe.
Rockcliffe. You're gonna trade Brisbane Billings for Rockcliffe.
No, they're going to trade the 3rd rounder they get for Robertson for Rockcliffe, and that'll be a fair deal.
Imagine him and Zeeble in the same team.
Coached by Buckley. Last game, Colas got smacked by Sydney. I got nothing.
I saw
Gary
like
Rowan kicked 5, but that's all.
I saw like 5 minutes of this, and I can't remember anything. It's an irrelevant game.
I saw 0 minutes of this.
It was on in the bar I was in, but I didn't really pay much attention. All I'll say is that the Suns have put in place a review, and look, I don't even know where to begin with that club. Culture's bad. It's basically like Brisbane, but I think without the homegrown youngsters.
Just rot from the board down to the janitor.
That's the club the AFL should move to Tassie if they're gonna do it that way.
Well, I think they get more than 2 people on the train carriages to their games.
How do you know they even catch the train to Metricon?
Well, maybe
Dummy.
they catch
Do they even
replacement buses.
They don't even have public trains on the Gold Coast.
I knew you'd bite on that. No, they don't. They have to catch buses. Poor bastards.
From the train station.
Let's go to the talking points, and we will begin with Hawthorn and the fantastic culture down there. Like, not only have you turned Ty Vickery into a worse footballer, you've turned him into a worse person.
How could Dylan Robertson with 3 young kids go to this environment? He will not stand for it.
Pretty sure if we have our way, then Vickery will be out the door at the end of the year anyway.
Where to?
Freaking Brisbane? Gold
Drain
Coast?
Russell would say, make it somebody else's problem.
Yeah, he must be sad as fuck. Send him to North.
Straight swap for McCartan?
No one's going to trade for him. He's finished as a footballer. Like, if this sticks, like, this is a fairly serious charge. Like, I can't believe how this story broke. First, it's Vickery's arrested for threatening. Then the guy arrested along with him is Jake King. Then it turns out that Jake King works for Mick Gatto. And then it turns out that Vickery's studying law. Like, this is just like dumbass bingo.
That's a good way to put it. I don't think any of the people involved are necessarily the sharpest tools in the shed.
And it's all over $100,000 that he reckons his partner in the restaurant nicked from him. And you claim he's extorted you, but you've extorted football clubs for your whole life, Tyrone. And I still think you're out ahead.
The first thing I assume everyone thought when they heard Ty Vickery arrested for extortion is, yeah, okay, he's
Footballing
arrested for
ability.
extorting Hawthorn out of $500k a year.
A bit harsh, but fair enough.
Well, it's not harsh because it's absolutely the truth.
I still find it funny, like, when the rest of the story came out. Between you and me, if I'm looking for an intimidating push-up man.
Stand over
stand
man,
up.
not a push-up. If you're looking for a push-up man, you get king.
You got to mean a stand over man, someone tough, intimidating. I'm not going to pick Jake King.
You should send Hodge round to drive a truck into their house.
I mean, he could have just rung up Dusty. Dusty brings out the chopsticks.
Dusty calls his dad.
Or
apparently,
his dad.
Apparently that can work, right, Dan?
Yeah, all the way in New Zealand, yeah.
But I'm amazed that he thought this would actually work. Like, what does he think he is? Like, I know he had dreadlocks, but that doesn't make him a gangster.
Clearly, King's just gone, yeah, let me handle it. And Tyrone, being fucking idiot that he is, just gone, oh, yeah, sure, no worries, mate. Just do what you need to do. Not really thought about it. And apparently now he's taking the matter through court to try and recover the 100k. But like, yeah, should have thought of that one earlier.
Yeah, he'll probably just faint in the witness stand.
It's fucking ridiculous. And the other thing that plays into it is his wife, who's a tennis player, was at Wimbledon, actually won the night before. Imagine after that, you've been a qualifier at Wimbledon, you've won on the first round, you're like, hey, I've won, big paycheck coming, another big game, how far can this go? You get woken up in the morning to hear that your husband's been arrested for effectively getting a midget to try and extort money from his business partner.
And yeah, what's the name of the company King works for? It's like Gatto Cleaning Solutions or something.
I don't even know what jokes we can make out of this. It's just so ridiculous. You can't write this. You legitimately cannot write this, that this would happen and the player would be Tyrone Vickery.
Even if he goes to jail, I assume we'd still have to count him in the cap.
You don't have to pay him, but he
free
does
agency.
count. Well, you at least save the 500,000. You can spend it somewhere else, but certainly not on players. Maybe you can spend it on your fans. That's a whole Tassie game that you don't need to play.
Yeah, spend it on your fans.
You might have to spend all the 500,000 though, because unlike North, we actually have more than 2 fans.
Put on a family day for your fans, a big apology barbecue. We're sorry we recruited Ty barbecue, or a farewell Ty bonfire where you burn his Guernsey.
Or you bring Clint Jones over, can burn Jake King. Make a right out of it.
We should make him walk the plank. I feel like that's the only suitable punishment.
Yeah, just take him out on the spirit.
For the spirit of Tasmania, and just, walk the plank, Ty. Back off. No more extorting us.
Who's going to nudge him out?
Good bloke, Hodgie.
One final snipe.
Also, just on that, actually, if Jake King's the guy who gets to try and get his money back, as an intimidating midget presence to scare someone into paying up, why'd he turn to King and not his coach if he's not concerned about the size?
Because Clarko's a reformed gentleman. He hasn't had a violent outburst for a while. He should have called his mate Basher and just got Basher to hook him up with Ali Fahur's number.
Well, perfect segue. We'll go to Basher and Ali Fahur. Well, Ali Fahur got the deserved ban that he should have got, and the discussion last week about whether he should lose his job.
He stepped down, didn't he? Or
he did. He stepped down of his own accord, which probably sort of saved the AFLMS, but they still
in the same way that
James
James Hurd stepped down in 2015.
He was fucked, and the more I think about it, the more I go, maybe you got to fall on your sword when you do that. Like, you are representing the code. You can't fucking whack someone like that. But the thing that baffles me, though, is that Basher Hooley would bother to defend him.
He's got a record of being a dick on field as well.
He had priors.
This is just a different dumbass bingo card.
I didn't lose fucking any respect for Basher out of the tribunal thing. Like, okay, even though Waleed and Malcolm bringing them out was kind of cringe, you're going to try what you can to get the penalty reduced, so whatever. But him going into bat for Hua, who he's a bit of a low-life thug, I lost a bit of respect for Hooley out of that, must say.
I have to agree, I'm disappointed in what he did. I cannot comprehend why you would defend him. You can still be his mate, but really, Fahur is copying a savaging that he deserved, that he made for himself. If you want it to be treated that your thing was a one-off and all that, you don't go support the guy who's clearly not part of a one-off, who's clearly gone and sized someone up and gone them. If your character is what you argued it to be and what you had Waleed and Turnbull say it was, you don't defend that man. Well, he may as well defend King and Vickery whilst he's at it. Like, that's literally effectively the ballpark there.
Just a lot of dumb footballers this week.
But all of them with links to fucking Richmond.
It's not a good week for Richmond.
Yeah, this is like the most Richmond of weeks. Thank fuck it's over. Fingers crossed. No jinx. Moving on, Luke Hodge.
Good bloke who hits people.
300 games, retiring. Look, he's been a pretty good footballer, pretty good leader at Hawthorn. He'll always be tainted by certain incidents, though, and I think that needs to be acknowledged before we goo too much over him.
Should we name a goalpost after him? You know how some football grounds have ends and wings? The Luke Hodge goalpost.
Sounds like something Basil would do. Everyone calls the Eddie Betts pocket. Basil's like, what name can I come up with? Let's call that the Luke Hodge post.
Don't compare me to Basil, come on.
Is that too far, Dan?
It's it's not the first time you've done that too, so just...
It's like, as much of a cocksmack as he is, that's pretty unfair on Basil.
Hey.
Do we have anything else on Hodge?
What can you say about the great man that, he hasn't already been said by the media today? I mean, he is an ornament to the game.
Yeah.
Does he deserve a cheering off, Dan?
Yes.
Oh.
Which is more than I can say for fucking Mitch Duncan and, well...
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Who's the other guy that got cheered off
Tom
again?
Lonigan. You're going to say Tom Lonigan doesn't deserve one?
Tom Lonigan on bravery, I guess, deserves it. But,
now we're setting rules.
well, I mean, if you're a guy that's willing to play a contact sport with one kidney, then you
After
deserve
losing one playing it.
Yeah, you deserve some kudos.
Credit to Lonigan for the career he's had, because he lost that kidney probably in his first 20-odd games.
You can't, I mean, for those listening, you can't live without kidneys. You need kidneys.
Oh, no, thank you, Dr. Dan.
I mean, it's not like...
Nothing gets past you.
Yeah, it's not like losing a finger or an arm or something. You need kidneys. You need at least one.
If you stop breathing, you die.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, everybody.
Seriously, I know you guys love to take the piss out of Hodge and, good bloke this, good bloke sniper that. But he's been a phenomenal player over the journey, and
Yes,
he's got 2 norms and was in the votes for the other 2 that we won, so his record is unparalleled.
Unprecedented.
he'll be remembered as the player that stepped up when it mattered.
Hodge is warrior leader, Mr. September. He's just been an absolute gem over the journey.
Hodge is going to have a long farewell, similar to Hayes, I imagine. Probably not as popular, but certainly, do you play St Kilda in the run home?
Mm-mm.
He's missed out.
Oh, what a shame. Oh, you missed out.
Everything that works.
We got the Dogs in the last round, so maybe for old time's sake, he'll put Johannesson into a post.
I think that's a good note to move on from. And Tom Boyd, he's stepped away with depression. What are our thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's possibly from, we have a lot of media surrounding the AFL. And we do not need half these fucking useless waste of semen who suck on the teat of this game. And they just have to try and fill in every column inch, every radio station, every TV station 24/7 every month of the year. We used to have cricket season, but now it's this, oh shit, here's a football story, here's another football story, this guy's wearing a goddamn hat. It's like, fuck's sake, let the players have an off-season.
Don't you knock that story.
Matthew Richardson's eating the chicken.
But in Boyd's case, it's still a little bit different in that case. He's copying it for his form. He's copying it for the way he's playing.
Well, and the way he's playing, given his contract.
Mm-hmm. Which he signed.
Maybe he can use the hundreds of dollar bills that he earns every day, wiping away his tears.
You're not a very empathetic person, are you, Dan?
Not for people who are very fortunate in life and they cry foul because they're a little bit blue.
Sad as fuck, I think's the term. Okay, if you're making $1 million a year, would you be prepared to live the Tom Boyd lifestyle of fronting up, training hard at football, being really bad at it, struggling, knowing that you're really bad at it, having the whole world tell you that you're bad at it? Would the money be good enough for you?
Now you're over-exaggerating when you say the whole world. It's just
The
people
whole
on the
football
internet
world.
that are saying
It's
stupid
everybody.
things
It's,
about
it's the
this
media. It's
football
everybody.
player.
His coaches are probably asking more of him as they're entitled to. But he's put pressure on himself that he did not anticipate, and now he can't handle it.
If you got to weigh up, is the $1 million a year and player payments worth it? If it is, then you play, and he's playing, and you got to put up with it.
I don't disagree that he didn't make his bed here, and he must lie in it. But certainly,
He certainly invited the media attention.
You need to take a really, really good look at yourself if comments on social media are making you sad.
I agree. Why are you reading it? But I'm not even sure. Like, they say social media because it's easy to blame social media, but surely Tom Boyd would know that he's playing poor football.
The crap that he gets.
It's not even
from
social
people.
media. It's in the papers too.
In the papers, on the TV, at the games, opposition
people-
Jack
probably.
Watts has copped it forever, and how's he never stepped away?
Whether it's warranted or not, these people wouldn't have the nerve to say anything to Tom Boyd's face. That's what you've got to realise. And he's the real winner out of this. This guy's making $1 million plus.
You reckon
every
you reckon someone wouldn't say it to his face?
that he's shit?
On the field,
No
though,
way.
At a
No
nightclub,
way.
Not if he had a
After
glass in his
bounce-
hand, maybe, because we all know about that. But
glassless, but we've all seen the footage of him headbutting the ball. Like, that's surely going to be played for him. Every drunk person starts like, see this Boydie, yeah.
You know what he should say to himself? Oh, that's just a drunk just talking shit.
well, yeah. But if you hear it forever, Dan, like Dan, you get salty over all the shit we give you. You get really salty over that. Imagine if you had
Yeah,
that times plenty. If that was you every time you went out in the
Surely
town.
the pros far outweigh the cons, being Tom Boyd.
But even then, it's like the AFL, you still don't have a lot of fun or free time.
And as I guess Cookie's right, the grubs in the media do report on that, and that's a problem. Like, I still think that is still a separate issue to the Tom Boyd situation because his is entirely form-based. And I think that is different to, say, maybe if Gibson's anxious, maybe he's copying it over his partying habits. Or he has copped it over those. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the contract he was given by the Dogs was actually quite irresponsible.
But he signed it.
Yeah.
I feel bad for taking this $1 million every year.
But he
Yeah.
shouldn't earn the risk.
No, seriously. If he were to Daisy Thomas this halfway through and maybe renegotiate to incentivize his contract, okay? Because he felt the pressure was getting to him, the Dogs would take that, and maybe he'd take that, and maybe the pressure would go away. Maybe people would actually acknowledge, hey, Tom Boyd's at least suggesting that he's not fulfilling it, and he's not going to take the money until he's not going to take $1 million a year till he deserves it. Like that, Thomas did that. Thomas could have got paid $750,000 potentially next year if Carlton picked him for enough games. Which, in the end, with some of their injuries, that might have happened, or he ends up playing out in the twos.
Yeah, they found a good win-win there,
Yeah,
so
and-
maybe the Dogs can do the same.
Because he's not a free agent, they can renegotiate. A free agent, you can't do this because obviously free agency and matching and all the shit that goes with that. But certainly for a player who was not a free agent, they could do that.
Right.
And that
Okay.
You think people are going to be more sympathetic to him and stop laying into him on social
well,
media?
okay, why do you think Tom Boyd cops it? Because he get paid $1 million a year to do nothing. Same reason Kurt Tippett does.
Yeah.
Same reason Ty Vickery does. These players are shit,
If-
but they wouldn't cop as much.
if
They
you
wouldn't
let-
cop as much shit
you
because
let
he's not
these
the worst
people-
player.
Yeah, he's
not
a
the worst player at the
developing key
Dogs.
forward in his 4th year. Like,
Yeah.
plenty of fucking key forwards were shit at
you
that
let
age. Still,
people,
most of them weren't
if
getting
you let
paid.
these people dictate who you are as an individual, then you shouldn't be playing professional
But
sports.
it's not just the people. It's the fact that he would know that he's not fulfilling the terms. If you're getting overpaid and you have to look all your teammates in the eye that you're making twice as much money as, and their output is far superior to yours.
That's not his fault. That's the club's fault. That's not him.
He still takes the deal.
You're worth what the club is willing to pay you.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to sit well.
Well, if I'm Tom Boyd and I've got players that are irritated by that, I'd tell them, take that up with the recruiters and the coach and the board.
Oh, yeah, that's
not
really
me.
good for the club culture. If you don't think you're getting paid enough, go speak to the club, and then they get shitty with the club, and then half of them end up walking somewhere else. That's how splits happen. Maybe Tom Boyd's central to the split at the Dogs. Maybe the issue's Tom Boyd. Maybe that's why he stepped away, because he can't handle that he's part of the split. I don't know.
How do you even know that this so-called depression is football related? Could be something else entirely.
Well,
something
the
different.
Dogs have suggested that it is.
Well, then you need to toughen up. Have a with cement.
Thank you, Dr. Dan.
You live a life that not many other people get to have, so you should consider yourself
And
fortunate.
you've still got both your kidneys.
You didn't actually answer my question. Would you wear the Tom Boyd life that he has to live for the paycheck that he picks up? Could you do that?
Yes, I'd absolutely do it.
So you would be able to put up with every time you went out, people hanging shit
I
on
would
you
do
for
it
your footballing
knowing
ability.
that people are going to talk shit about me on social media and that I'm a 6 foot tall guy with muscles, and anyone who had the nerve, drunk or not, to say anything, I would just flatten them.
Well, you see, Tom Boyd's actually listed at 2 meters, which is about 6'8" in the old, but I think he's actually 204.
Thanks, Tim.
I'd love to see what would happen if you fucking flatten them down. If that's what you like, that would be the end of your money, and then you'd still be sad as fuck because you had no money.
Okay, well, take out the flatten bit. I mean, it's just, to me, the pros far, far outweigh the cons.
Get Jake King onto him.
Let's move on. Any last words?
I think he just needs time to feel comfortable in his own skin, and maybe some time away from the game will help him do that.
Maybe donate a kidney or something. I feel better.
Jesus Christ. Questions. You don't know. Jack wants to know what would have been a better comeback for Oliver instead of "I'll kill you."
I'll get Jake King onto you.
Please stop yelling at me. It makes me feel sad as fuck.
Boss wants to know if you had to pick one AFL or awful player to give an erotic massage to, who would you choose?
Hang on,
Burton.
Are we giving the massage or are we getting one?
To give you one.
To give us one. I would go with the person who would least liked it the most. Who would that be? Who would hate giving me a massage the most?
Jack Zeeble, Nathan Buckley.
Who's got the softest hands? Not for Alexis.
I'd get Daisy Pierce to give me a massage. I just want to know, what's getting a forehead massage like?
I don't have an answer for this. I just want to know why Bosk always has to ask these questions.
Yeah, they're a bit...
Do you reckon he put in AFLW as like an afterthought?
Yeah, they'll never suspect a thing if I put that in there.
Maybe he's just projecting his own sort of fetish that he wants to be massaged by AFL players himself.
I mean, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, Bosk, who would you want to give you a massage? And you can't use AFLW as an out. You have to pick a band.
I am assuming he'd go for the same answer as me, which is Ryan Burton.
Yeah, I don't know. I've given this too much thought, and I don't have an answer.
Just Mo Hope. There you go. Problem solved, Dan.
No, fuck that. No, she doesn't deserve my back. She's hardly an AFL footballer.
I'm going to go for soft hands, so I'm going to pick a soft player. So it has to be Jason Johannesson, because he's soft as butter. That'll do.
Yeah, I'll just go with Tom Doty. He's not getting any action lately, and even though he was a high draft pick for Adelaide, he hasn't debuted, has he?
No.
Nope.
No, he hasn't. Well, this will be the first time he's got his hands on something, so Tom Doty can be the one.
Got his hands on the ball.
There you go. Oh, that extras cost extra.
Pritis has pretty good hands.
Fuck off.
Yeah, especially in nice and tight and close.
No. You'd have to pay me for him to tell me. I'm not paying
$1
for
million? Would you be sad as fuck?
Oh, easily, yeah. I'd let him do whatever he wanted to me for $1 million.
Cooksen's got the last question.
Who is Mark Murphy's kid real dad?
Allegedly.
Is it the Duck, Sam Gilbert, Sam Fisher, or someone else?
Well, I mean, they're all contenders. They're all a chance, I suppose. Maybe we should get them all on the Maury Povich show. You are the father.
Simon Lethlean, if I'm to judge by the scandals and rumours board.
Who?
What is he, third in command at the AFL now? Second even?
Yeah.
Ugh.
With the amount of fucking girls he's fucked, they should be calling it AFL sex.
Imagine though, Mark Murphy's the only person who's lost a battle of wits with Jay Carlisle. That's just so funny.
Patrick Dangerfield. Another father-son for the Crows coming up.
This week on the Bay, we'll begin with Thread of the Week. Make Bevo happy.
That was good, Fred, but it was just
Good.
too creepy.
I liked Craffles' effort of your face when you first saw the Saints Tigers score.
I had a nom for Vesti's thread that Wayne Carey's going to be a dad.
Pretty good week of Fred's this week.
No, it was a good week.
The Tom Boyd thread was okay, if only for the opening line by Hodgepodge, as we are both athletic millionaires.
There was another funny moment, wasn't there? Something about him living with his therapist or in a relationship with his therapist.
Yes, we are now in love. And
He's good when he wants to be, but fair dinkum, the quitting the Bay again. Just shut up, Podgy. 2 threads in the last
he's a
couple
bit
of
of
months.
he's a bit of a Dermot Brereton.
I reckon Thread of the Week should go to Cardinia Space Park for his investigative skills in regards to the slew of PMs that have been going around attacking poor old Extreme, trying to get him put on ignore by all the cat slogs. After Cardinia Park outed Geelong Dynasty as being a massive fucking squib, other people came and said that there was more than one PM that was sent around. So Geelong Dynasty's got a whole bunch of PMs going.
PMs.
He's spreading this whole web of lies, like Dan. It's like trying to get
I don't lie. You lie. Biggest
lie.
It does make sense that he had to send all the individual PMs to different cliques on the Geelong board, because obviously half of them hate each other. So if he just sent one big PM like Bosk did all those years ago, then no one would have noticed what he was talking about in regards to Extreme. They would have just saw, fucking Nakaya's in the PM. Fucking hate that guy, mash.
So, sucked in Geelong Dynasty, you're a fuckwit. You also get my flog of the week, obviously.
But what do we want to give it to?
Say besties, Fred.
Yeah,
Gary's going to be a dad.
Yep.
I know, just quickly, the article on the Herald Sun website, you can imagine the comments were pretty comical and they all got deleted pretty quickly.
What, Mark Murphy one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Truth is out there. Flog of the week, who do we want to give it to?
Geelong Dynasty.
Geelong Dynasty?
Geelong Dynasty.
Can I give a dishonourable to Boy Dogs? Another mod ship, another salty Boy Dogs.
What did he do?
Apparently Cookie getting it was favouritism.
Oh, you were referring to the it's not who you are but what you know post?
Yeah, and then he had another because Cookie finished 8th in the fake poll that had man with no name, Trevor Doonan, Peppy and Craffles in it.
Yeah, you better do those MVP posts seriously, Cooksen, or you'll be told about it.
And he made a thread this week about the free kick Eagles, and it was just utter garbage, especially from a dog supporter.
The Dogs haven't liked it ever since the thing started not going their way. It's the rub of the green, your flogs. If you want to call it the rub of the green, don't do a plugger. Plugger backtracked when he said get into the ball first and then decide umpires were rigged and look like an idiot. If you're going to say it was the rub of the green when you're getting the free kicks, you can't sook about it when you stop getting them. That just makes you look like an idiot.
Agreed.
Like, on the whole, the Hawthorn fans have been pretty reasonable when it comes to the subject of umpiring the last couple of years. We've had a few games where it went our way, but we've had a few where it didn't. So them's the traps.
Late thread from Bosk. What should Brad Scott's first order of business be as the new Collingwood coach? Brad is being talked up on the main board as the Pies' new coach at the end of the year. Word is strong on the grapevine that...
Would that be the first time an assistant that's gone to another club has come back to that previous club as a senior coach? Has that ever happened before?
Word on the grapevine is strong that the deal's already been struck. I think it's a great appointment that boasts real synergy, particularly for anyone who supports both Collingwood and North. She knows who she is, in brackets. So what?
And
Penal,
Dan,
have you been sending PMs since we recorded?
No, I have not.
So what should his first task be?
But
My suggestion is finding a way to weasel out of paying Chris Mayne $500k for the next 3 years to play VFL.
Could poach Damien Hardwick to be your assistant coach or director of coaching so you can get the dream team happening, right, Dan?
The dream team.
Trade Zeeble lacrosse.
And Dan, to answer your questions about assistants coming home, Jade Rawlings next year.
Fuck off.
Oh, yeah. He could get his cousin a Collingwood membership.
So Geelong Dynasty for Flog of the Week?
No, I'm actually leaning towards Boy Dogs, but Geelong Dynasty, I suppose.
Penal and Cookie, what do you say?
I think it should be a draw. We're in that sort of spirit.
Also, can we give dishonourable to Kaiser Chiefs for sooking over Pritis on the main board?
Oh, yeah. He's had a fucking shit week. Like, he was acting like a mong into Boyd Fred on the main board as well.
Yeah,
well, he was saying what Dan was saying, wasn't he?
If you thought Dan was bad, he was just full on victim blaming, saying it's just an excuse. You know, he's not really sad as fuck, and he's just using it as an excuse to cover his shit form.
There could be an element of truth.
I knew you were just going to do that.
Sad, but I mean, you got to look at the bigger picture. I mean, you can't just cry foul and go, I can't train, I can't play. And I'm also aiming that at Fasolo too. He cried foul and then started training the next day. I mean, what's that all about?
Yeah, and he never should have been playing. What a cunt.
Oh yeah, and that cost you too, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean...
I don't even have any money to dry my eyes with because of solo.
Yeah, if anything, you should be feeling sad as fuck.
Yeah, look what you did, Dan. Last week's
Sorry.
poll. 2017 season. 33.3% Dan said it's a shit lottery.
Yes.
44.4% said the best in recent memory. And the remaining 22.2% said Jack Watts likes squeaky clown noses.
Oh boy.
Next week's games, Cookie, have we got a coin?
No. Dan, I'm going to use your tips this week, so tell me the 9 teams to win. St Kilda, Essendon.
St Kilda.
Well, why are you taking his? He's not sitting 38th in Bay 13 tipping.
Oh, piss off. You and your 40th. Oh, look at me. I'm ranked 43rd overall.
Ranked 38th,
now I'm
38th,
38th
Get it
now.
fucking right.
Look at me. Oh,
Yeah.
look at the strut. Look at me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that GIF got a lot of likes on that thread, by the way.
Oh, got a lot of likes. Oh, look at me and all my likes. Ooh.
Hey, piss off.
Speaking of getting a lot of likes, can I nominate Nick Rewalt for Flog of the Week?
Ooh.
I know it was kind of a special occasion, but he missed those fucking 2 easy shots at the end of the game, which let Richmond kind of keep the scoreboard a bit closer and robbed me of the opportunity to start the post here if you've lost to St Kilda by 75 points or less thread and rack up some easy uncontested likes, as Pup would say.
You're not a nice man, Peter. That's awfully selfish of you.
It's awfully basilish of me.
So, yeah, are we taking the inferior Dan tips, are we, Cookie?
My tips.
We could do 3 each. We'll do 3 each.
No, my tips will get the fuck out.
9 divided by
You are
5.
the new teach, so we'll just put these in and see what you get.
All right, come on, Dan.
All right, St Kilda to beat Essendon, North Melbourne to beat... No, they won't beat Port. Port Adelaide to beat North Melbourne, Geelong to beat Hawthorn, Collingwood to beat Gold Coast.
On the back of the coaching performance from Nathan Buckley.
Yeah, got to back in the great coach that is Nathan Buckley because he's such a great coach.
This is exactly the same bullshit you pull on me with Hardwick, and see you can't even see the parallel.
Western
Hardwick
Sydney.
Hardwick is a good coach. GWS to beat Sydney, Melbourne to beat Adelaide in Darwin. God, imagine if Brisbane Lions win this game. You have to tip Richmond in that one. Oh God, this is tough. The Derby, West Coast and Carlton to beat the Dogs.
All right, I'm entering the Dan tips.
You can't tip favourites because you end up getting 2s and 3s.
Well,
Bullshit.
jeez. Oh, the easy option's gone. You poor bastard.
Surely we get up against the fucking most hated rival.
Do it for Hodgie.
Do it for Hodgie and his 300th.
Yeah,
Actually, we've
if you're
got
a Geelong player,
our,
just don't stand near a goalpost.
our record in Hodgie's milestone games is unprecedented because I reckon we've won the 5 of them by what? An average of 69 points each.
You know what? North won all of Boomer's milestone games right up to the last one, which they lost.
Which one was that?
Didn't you lose the record breaker?
No, we won that one.
Oh, really? But that was in the later half of the year where you didn't win any games.
Yeah, that was the only game they won
Oh,
after
fuck.
round.
There you go.
It was against us. We had like the banner.
Yeah.
Or some
Oh, you
shit.
St Kilda did him a
The
solid.
cringe banner.
Nice guy, St Kilda.
I guess each game after that was also a record breaker, so technically they lost most of his milestone games.
What? Because he was breaking his own record? Come on, that doesn't
Yeah.
count. Jesus.
Yeah, of course it does.
I'm surprised North didn't make a new jumper to sell for each one he got there to all their
I
fans.
tell you what, I am disappointed that there is no Hodge 300 jumper. I mean, if Drew Petrie got a 3D
Oh,
sheet
shit.
jumper,
He did too.
surely Hodge should get one. Apparently we just don't do it, so
No,
I mean,
you do
fair
the
enough.
gay Power Ranger jumper.
You do
Fair.
you'll do a pink jumper, you'll do a Power
Pink,
Rangers Guernsey,
we'll do
you'll do
pink
that,
and brown, but
you'll
we
do
won't
that
do
abortion,
one
the
for
camouflage one, but you won't
one
do...
of our greatest ever captains and an absolute warrior of the club and an ornament and icon of the game. Because I would have bought one. Like, I don't buy a lot of merchandise, but a fucking Hodge 300 jumper, I would have bought that straight away. But instead, one can get, I think, a oversized stubby holder.
That's appropriate for Hodge, isn't it?
Mm.
Comes in the size of 2 standard drinks. I want to say that Richmond will come out breathing fire this week. The stakes are so low, but we will respond the way a team does when they're that pitiful, and we'll do it against a team that's so crap it wouldn't have mattered anyway. And you know what? We'll probably get that 10-goal win that we supposedly can't get, and everyone will pretend that all is well again, when really it is not.
I'm going to
What if you
sit.
lose?
We won't lose. It's Brisbane.
You might lose.
We won't lose. We are very similar to Port Adelaide in who we can beat and who we can't beat. It's just no one's picked up on that yet, because we've lost a few close ones to good teams.
I'm going to say Sydney will beat GWS.
Well, you don't have to go with my tips. So you could just,
I'm certainly not going with your tips. I'm doing just fine on my own, thank you.
Oh, yeah, because look at me. I'm 38th now.
Where are you placed? Let's find out where Dan's placed.
I'm probably 100th or something.
Let's fucking have a look at this. Can I find someone who's not myself? I hope so. I don't want to have to trawl through thousands of people on the website just to find Dan at the bottom.
I'm 469th.
Oh, God.
Going good. Dan has
I'm
69
34th.
tips.
I'm not 38. I'm 34th.
Wow,
I'm
even better.
At this
How
rate,
about
at
that?
9 spots a week, I will win this.
Oh, wow. How about that? Well, then you can shout everyone a drink then if you win.
Well, how many tips did you say Dan had?
69.
Yeah, so I've got 73, and I'm apparently 630.
So Dan, you're about 16 behind me.
Yeah.
9. I've seen a perfect 9 this week, and I'll be equal with Starburns.
What's my overall ranking then if I've got 69 tips?
Oh, after food's in the bottom 6. He's in the 1400s and 40s.
So he doesn't even get the away tips?
Well, I don't know.
That's the messed up thing about tipping competitions now, because if you do get the away tips, you're probably winning the competition.
I know.
It's 783.
783, Dan. So that puts me 749 places ahead of you.
Wow. Do you feel powerful? Do you feel big now?
Well, wouldn't you? You would.
I
If
could
this
not
was you,
care
you would
less.
be gloating about it. Like,
Do
fucking...
you feel like you'd be able to walk up to Tom Boyd in the street and drop him?
So I've got some ground to make up, I suppose, with like 5 rounds to go.
It's okay, Dan. I have faith in you.
Yeah, that sounded very sincere.
Anything else on next week's matches? The Derby concerns me.
Why?
Well, I just don't know what to expect out of it. I don't know where I'm going to send my tip at the moment.
Sounds like someone who's taking their tipping seriously.
Well, you want to know how much time I spend on my tipping, Dan?
How much?
About enough time as it takes to fill in the boxes.
Hours.
I don't sit there and consider it.
I bet you are one of those types that's
About as much time as it takes to flip a coin.
Just about, really.
So you're saying it's all on a whim. You just go tick, 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 tick. They're my tips. I'm done for the week.
That's how I tip.
So more or less, you tip the way.
I've probably subconsciously, through doing this on a Monday and watching 360 during the week, I've probably subconsciously figured out who I'm going to tip anyway, probably, by the time Friday
But there's no
rolls
skill
around.
to what you've done. You've fluked your way to 38th,
No.
which is no grand sort of position to be
I
in.
haven't
If
flicked
you're
my way
jumping
there.
up and down
I picked the winners, and I did it because I believed those teams were going to beat
No,
those
you
other
didn't.
ones. I've watched
Bullshit.
enough football to pick the form lines. How's that so hard to believe? Every other year, how is that any worse than you just basically tipping all the favourites down in past years and then just banking
I don't
that?
tip all the favourites.
You just said it's all about tipping all the favourites.
I tip some favourites.
Liar.
More or less, I tip the way you do, and yet you're sitting 38th and I'm 7,953.
Yeah, because I'm just better at this than you are.
You should just tip all the away teams, and according to you, that would put you top of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
The secret's
Just
been there all year.
I will do that. On the big footy tipping, I will tip all the away teams this week. We'll see how many tips I get.
Well, you're going to get one from Hawthorn, so pat yourself on the back.
Let's see how many I'll get. Essendon, maybe. North Melbourne, no. Hawthorn, yes. Collingwood, yes.
Yes.
Adelaide, yes. Sydney, yes. Brisbane Lions, probably not. West Coast, yes. Western Bulldogs, yes. So that's 6 or 7.
Dan, if you knew who was going to win, you wouldn't need to tip the away teams. This was the Flogcast 4 round 16 Starburns.
Thank God.
By
Jesus.
Dan,
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going off Skype now.
Cooksen,
Goodbye.
Morgs.
Good night. Dan's a liar. Bye.
Go. Piss off. Get lost.
and Penal.
This episode was 1.5 hours long, which is one score on Twain in the old, but I think you'll find it was actually 2.5 hours worth of recording.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.